Hello! I am so excited for this week. We are going to be talking about fairy tales. I love fairy tales. And if we were in the classroom, we'd be learning about fairy tales. So I thought we could still learn about them. Fairy tales are so much fun, but there are so many things that go into a fairy tale. How do we know it's a fairy tale and not just a made-up story? We're going to find all those things out this week. Now you have a lot of different activities to choose from for your schoolwork this week, but I hope one of the things you'll choose is your fairy tale journal, your very own fairy tale journal that I created for you. So this is what it looks like, and you have one at your house. And before I can even read a fairy tale to you, we need to talk about what makes a fairy tale. So right inside your fairy tale journal, the first 2 pages tell us what is in a fairy tale. So this is the first page and this is the second page. So let's talk a little bit about what makes a fairy tale. You probably already know that fairy tales usually begin with special words like once upon a time or long ago in a faraway place. They usually have special ending words also, like they lived happily ever after. Usually there's magic in fairy tales, and there's usually characters like kings and queens and princesses and princes. And the fairy tales, they happen in a faraway place. So the setting of the story is in a faraway land. We've talked about setting before, where the story takes place. Does a fairy tale happen in Boise, Idaho? Goodness, no. Does it happen at, let's say, Utah? No. It happens in a faraway place, a place we don't know. Sometimes they name it, but usually there is not even a name for the place. The characters sometimes have very unusual and different names. And oftentimes the main characters are animals, and those animals talk. Now, do animals talk in real life? Of course not. But in fairy tales, animals often talk. Or what other creations that are in the fairy tales? Sometimes the animals turn into humans, and sometimes the humans turn into animals. There's always going to be a good character who likes to be kind and friendly and caring. And then there's going to be a bad character, someone or something that likes to cause mischief and cause problems. And sometimes they call them the evil character because they like to do evil, like the evil witch or something like that. Now, one thing about fairy tales that lots of people don't know is that fairy tales have magic numbers. There's 2 numbers that fairy tales love to use in their stories. Now, not every fairy tale has these, but lots do. And the fun part for us as the readers is to watch and listen for those numbers. So the numbers are 3 and 7. Fairy tales often have 3 of something or 7 of something. Or they go visit someplace 3 times or 7 times. So you just have to be listening. Think about Snow White. How many dwarfs are in Snow White? 7. It's the magic fairy tale number. Think about the little pigs. How many little pigs are there? There's 3. Isn't that amazing? So be listening for the magic fairy tale numbers. Also, oftentimes they have like royalty and a castle, and they always have a problem in the story and a solution. There's a way the problem gets solved. So you're always going to be listening for some sort of problem, usually with the characters. And then it gets solved and there's a solution because the good characters live happily ever after. So that's a little bit about what is in a fairy tale. Those are the facts. So when we're reading and listening and watching fairy tales, be listening for those things and it will tell you, it's a fairy tale. In your fairy tale packet, the first story I'm going to be reading to you is Jack and the Beanstalk. And there's an activity to do with Jack and the Beanstalk. It's a sequence activity. And I really like this paper. And if you do this one, make sure you take a picture of it and send it to me, because it's one of my favorites, because you get to use your imagination. Then there's the Three Little Pigs that I'll be reading to you. And this is also one of my favorites right here, because you get to create your own house, just like the Three Little Pigs did. And then I'll for sure read to you Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And for sure, I'm going to read you Rumpelstiltskin. I love Rumpelstiltskin. And then there's some other ones that maybe I'll have time to read, like Hansel and Gretel or The Princess and the Pea. And there's so many other fairy tales out there. And I hope, even if we don't get to read them in class, that you will enjoy reading them for the rest of your life. All right, I'm off to read a fairy tale to you, and I hope that you will watch it. Bye, have a magical day.